attention and need to tell everybody how bad they're feeling about things, and it's really rough to see some just using disrespectful language all the time. But anyway, what I wanted to say is I'm very sure the team is also watching a lot of the content creators' videos.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
I'm 100% sure they really value your input. So and I'm also sure that they don't really have time to watch you on stream where you talk about that stuff. Because who got time for that? But yeah, I think you should do those videos where you really make a concise video about your ideas and what you think needs to be done. Because I think you got a really good experience and a really good take on it, and that would help you as a whole.
I mean, I'm at worst telling Kieran about most of these things, so we can blame him if it doesn't make it further. I certainly. I think it's good content though. It's like something worth talking about as well, because what you said, like people being really upset in Discord and so on, right? That's part of it being very investor heavy as well. So if people have like either currently money involved, or they had the idea of in the future I can use this game and monetize it in whatever extent, they are very differently engaged and involved than people on usual like a random game, right?
Yeah.
So that just changes a lot. Yeah, but it also changes the demographic of everything, right? Like I've said before, when I was streaming, like my stream demographic right now, that's like the streamers that I watch is like Dante's, Tarzan, Metaphor, like people who would be considered incredibly mean and toxic people.
I've watched Dante's stream. He's kind of like very genuine and also very like, he has a big heart and he's a nice guy actually. He just has some like, he screams around sometimes, but he says a lot of, he says like, well, if you can like, win a game. Makes like really bad jokes, like really outrageous jokes, but like he never says something
I like
bad
those
seriously.
Jokes.
I feel like.
He's serious. He would sacrifice half of the world population to win one ranked game. I think that's a reasonable take. I would do that as well.
Is he like? Yeah, I get that. Hey, let's jump.
That's like what I mean. Like the investor-ish person or like super casual-ish person is gonna be like, yo, how could you say that? When it's like essentially in gaming community or try-hard gaming community, it's a very normal joke to make.
For sure.
Thing to say.
1 second, Viper. Let's jump up to Sod because he's in a game already.
Oh, let's go.
Alright, here we are.
Oh, we're deep in the game. Okay, guys, so this was a preview of if Paz and me ever do a podcast, you know? We're just gonna like talk about stuff and...
Yeah, we should do it.
Population for a win in a ranked game.
Yeah, I would sacrifice half of the world population to have a successful podcast. I'd be down. I don't know. Like, this is so clearly a joke. Like, I don't know. You can make joke about anything. It depends on the audience. And that's, again, what you said. If you have an investor audience, maybe it's not the best place to be, like, embracing
it's more like the middle-aged women or something like that. But yeah. Like the actual investors, they don't care about that.
They do care about like public view, like public image of the company and stuff like that. The really serious ones. Like
if you're like a random streamer, then like they don't care.
No. But for example,
it also like on the investor side, right? It's this funny joke. Like the guy that invests like $500 in something, he's gonna like ask question how's it going every single day, and the guy that invests 50k is just like, here, you have 50k, and goes away. Yeah. It's kind of funny, but I think it's very true.
Because it also doesn't change anything. Like, I don't know if you have
exactly.
read a little bit through the the Illuvium Zero.
I'm very up to date on that. I thought a lot on if I can just interject and say some things, but I feel like most of the stuff is just reiterating the same talking points, and everything that's relevant has more or less been said. So it's probably the best course of action to just have like some high-level town hall or AMA or event just covering a lot of those topics, so that people just have a concise thing that's not like a 10,000 message Discord text channel, because it's easy for messages to be lost there and to be repeated over and over again.
It's so rough reading through it, and I was also very close to like trying to step in and trying to like at least help both sides understand each other. But then I saw like people like Blichter and Scrubber and like really smart and influential people in Illuvium step in and make really good points, and they just got shit on by people who are like, you got no idea about like. It's just like, I don't know. It's very not constructive conversations going on in there. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna do a video about it.
Thing, right? Like it's you gotta like take out, okay, what are people saying? What are people worried about? Why are they saying those things? What is the feedback that they have, right? It's most of the time the feedback and the ideas and just like the opinions that they have, all of that is super valuable. But the idea on how to fix it, that oftentimes is not the optimal one, right? Like that's like a classic. We can go back to gaming. It's like a classic gaming topic as well. Where like the Reddit thread, right? Like the people on Reddit, they always have the answer on how to fix everything in the game, when the average person posting on Reddit is like a silver elo player. So all their emotions and their ideas on like what they don't like and what they would like to see happen in the future, you have to figure out what is the fundamental underlying thing that they want or that they dislike, and then you can work with that. But the ideas that they have how to fix it, that is usually not working. Like talking on gaming, right? Not necessarily talking on the Illuvium economy thing here.
Yeah, just no, for sure.
Semi-podcasty thing point. Yeah. And now we can go into the you can look at Zod's game as well, maybe.
Yeah, like, he's playing game, the
I'm wanting to comment, but it just seems pretty over. So
yeah, it seems over. Everything has been said. And just on your point, I think the input and all the opinions that people give are super valuable. I just hope it's not gonna happen, that they can communicate it a little bit more respectful and not like say like use your brain and stuff like this, which is just whatever. The problem is though, they just want to be heard. They just want somebody to say yes, you're right, and like they want to be heard. And yeah, the solution is probably gonna look very different from a corporate standpoint than what the single user wants to see in the game, like you said. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot like echo chamber-y thing, right? Like if you have an opinion and then it's fine, like whatever.
Yeah. We wanted to do a podcast anyway. Here, this should be our first topic.
No, for sure.
We could go forever on that. But let's see what Zod is playing.
Interesting.
What is he playing? He's playing Muddy Friends and he's destroying the Flish team. But the Flish team is looking very different this time because it's played around Colossus and Verdant and also 7 Scions.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Psy and Titan are usually a very, very big threat, I believe. But the Titanor cast got taunted by the Caradulu, so there was no Omega ability coming out.
Yeah, that's a huge point.
Titanor Omega would have done... it's like about a 1000 damage ability on 7 Psy. Yeah. So that could have been certainly game-changing here.
Probably top performer in damage if he would have casted. Also stunning the enemy team. How long? Like 3 seconds now? Compared to the stage 1 second. So 3 seconds stun, which at least it's like 5-6 unit would be game changing, like you said. And that's it. Zod takes it. Clean game. And I think that's 1-0 for Zod. And I think we're gonna stay with Zod. Nefer is also in a game right now, so maybe if Zod does win another one, we can swap down to Nefer. So he played Muddy Friends. He has to play now the Hot Fish team or the I Need Healers. He decides to go for the Hot Fish. And we'll see the next game. Do we sneak peek Nefer just in the meantime?
Certainly.
Could take a few minutes.
Going off the gameplay for a while, so giving people double the gameplay might be a good idea.
Yes, see you down there.
Jumping in early in the game, and it is Muddy Friends in the mirror matchup. That's interesting.
First mirror that we see today, I believe. Bringing in the Lynx. Has been nerfed a little bit, still very OP. I think it still does pure damage with his auto attacks, which...
Yes.
I didn't think that was intended, and I thought that would be patched, but... again,
the damage stats on the links got tuned down.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a cool thing that the links just does pure damage on everything. It's a counter to like bulwarks.
Yeah, I was kind of scared they would remove it, but maybe they keep it in on purpose, or maybe because again it's a beta, we don't have user experience, like quality of life of the beta testers, and balance is not the main priority right now. So maybe this bug fix will wait a little bit. Maybe we should make an IIP, keep the links on pure damage.
Actually, true. I would support that one.
I was so happy when Lynx came out and everybody was playing Lynx. I was like, yes, dude. Like I thought he would never come into competitive play, and then it was the main unit for a few weeks. That was a cool thing. All right, we got Warp Wave Assault for Nefer. I hope he doesn't forget to play it.
That is a crazy augment to get.
Yes, there it is. Who is it going on? Unit has to stay at least 7 seconds alive before the augment gets triggered. But I don't think there's any unit that will die before 7 seconds in here. Maybe the Grok on the left. I would definitely not put it on my frontline small units. I would be too scared to lose the augment. Interesting positioning as well coming in from Luca here. Positioning in the corner with his fighters, which basically makes him... I think
there's some bugs in the game with the unit is like frozen or like in any other way incapacitated.
Yeah, there was a Discord delay. And yeah, the fighters are positioned in a clump in the back corner, which basically means his fighters arrive late to the fight, right?
So Lucas playing Predator.
Yeah. Well, Predator and fighters. But, well, yeah. He's sniping him with the Berserkers attack the Predators, I guess. The Nefer is set up pretty good against Lucas' team here. Little leg spike. Be right back.
No, the fight. Those are like more middle-ish for Luca at the moment. The rogues are in the back.
True. I was more looking at the Scorpion, who would probably arrive later than the other Scorpion, but actually the Berserkers are getting taunted, are attacking the Predators, killing them pretty fast. Gorilla gets a cast off here, gets an illusion off. Here comes the Warp Wave Assault. Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this. I'm too laggy to commentate.
Like a very dominant the stretch isn't really pulling through.
I should just mute myself when I talk so I don't talk over Viper. I was going so good and now we have a little lag spike again.
Illuvium get hyper, allowed them to carry. It seems just a lot stronger to me. Maybe the Predators could do more if they wouldn't be immediately focused.
I think it would be a good idea to swap sides with the Predators, because in the past it has been working really well to try to snipe the Predators and kill them early on. Otherwise, Gorilla is gonna make so many illusions.
Yeah, the Gorilla illusions are a big threat for overtime.
Alright, upgrades here. Berserkers are on the field. We got the high speed. And looks like Nefer is taking it. Is he gonna do 400 damage? I think might not be enough. Yes, 15 HP left. You think we gonna see a comeback here on 15 HP? I certainly had a few games where I was able to turn it around with 10 HP left. I think one of them was versus Smartass. I think he rage quit the game after that. Or sent me some...
oh man, poor Smartass.
Some hate threats. I do remember very good. He was like on 1000 HP, something crazy, like almost full HP. Brought me down to 10 HP, and then I was able to cheese him every round with like outplaying the positioning to win it in the end. Well, it is what it is. Alright, Nefer needs one more win versus Luca here to close it out.
Yeah, I think you're on the hitman list that he has, for sure.
Hey, don't say that.
Say what?
Wait, it was too much delayed. Yeah, I'm getting paranoid about people like trying to DDoS me or something. Once I move to my new place, I want to have like good protection for my IP and whatever. Yeah, looks like
there are a lot of crazy stories about that kind of topic. Yeah, it looks like Nefer just won. Nefer was going for the better strategy. The Predator strategy just seems inferior, basically.
GG Nefer. Alright, we all have little monkey brains from TikTok anyway. Let's swap back up to Sod's stream, see what he's doing. What do we have here, Viper? What are we seeing?
We're seeing a very defensively oriented Verdant Colossus line on the Psion team versus the Predator / Berserker team. I think that's very interesting. I mean, Zord was winning with the Muddy Friends team versus the Psion team. Now he's just going for a totally different approach than his opponent did.
That's a good point. It's looking good for him. Looks like he's winning round 3 here. Just out healing everything with 3 Verdant. Really strong affinity. Sorry guys. This is like how do you call it? It's like a PowerPoint. Wait, next chart. So here we see them all focusing down the link,
also,
and
Zod
now
has the corrosive aura augment here. I think that is a very, very big part that allows you to play this defensive strategy. Just so much damage coming out from that.
Yes. Little Inferno. Almost better than Inferno. How much is it doing? Like 3% per second? Max health damage?
3%.
Crazy. Yeah, some of the augments seem very strong and some feel very underwhelming. Alright, what we got? 3 Verdant. We're going for also probably 2 Colossus later on. Gonna upgrade that. How's it called? The stage 2? Scarabog. Damn. Yeah, how's the stage 2 Scarabog called again?
Goliath.
Goliath. Right. Yeah, we're gonna upgrade Goliath soon to be a Titanor, have the 2 Colossus. Also there is...
We already have with the Ranger.
Oh, with the Ranger, true.
It's a very, very defensive oriented team.
It's very interesting. When I played that deck, I was playing Shock Squeeze. And activated the Shock trait. Yeah. But I guess people have been playing the defensive line a little bit more with Granite, Colossus, Verdant. Which is really strong, to be honest. Just giving the Scions the time to kill everything. All you need. Here comes the first laser. Man, it looks like a Dia show, like a freaking PowerPoint.
Yeah, a bit.
Oh, is it looking for you like that too?
We see the main thing, right? We see Predators come in, Predators can't finish off the job, and then it's just like the AoE verdant and healing, and something like Squiz going hyper and just ditching out damage.
Yeah. But is Sod stream lagging a little bit for you too?
Yeah, it is. Like very, very badly.
Oh, I thought it was just
it's
me.
Not you.
Good to hear.
No.
Well, let's swap back to Nefer then. But he's not ready yet. But yeah, Sod is taking this round, I think. Oh, Bard left alive with 100 HP. Alright. And yeah, my prediction is Nefer versus Sod in the finals. It's gonna be a heated match. Both very good players. I haven't played Bard a lot. I haven't seen Bard a lot on the leaderboards. But he's gold.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen the name before. Not sure.
No, me neither.
Maybe he's a new player. That would be cool. So. I think Bard should try to swap off this Predator win condition. Like, once you see that your opponent, like, you have synced some Ascension coins into it, sure, but you just see Predator is not going to punch through those Colossus, I think. And you just try to go for the Berserkers and then just have the Berserkers scale up their attack speed and support them with Mystic and healing. And that should be winning, unless you get, I don't know, just like beamed by an Alfie and die, which I think surely you can prevent a little bit.
Yeah.
That would at least be my approach here, just like to accept it, sack some Ascension coins, it's fine. But he did invest a lot into, for example, this Earth Links 2 Ascension coins for that, instead of going for just a Berserker Mystic setup. So he's pretty deep down this route, so I don't know if he's gonna change away from it.
I guess he was thinking that his Berserkers will never get through to the Scions, so he thought he has to try to assassinate the Scions some way. But yeah, the positioning is just too easy for Sod to counter that. And once you have those rogues, those predators on the Colossus, it's basically lost for him.
Oh, Zod is kind of going all in on assuming his opponent won't change side, because here, those predators could fit in and assassinate most of the backline, I believe.
But where would they fit in? Between Arca... They don't have
really
space.
The stream was just lagging for me, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. my stream wasn't updated.
PowerPoint returns. Here we can get Bard in here. Yeah, quick little reminder to everybody, this is beta and we don't have a spectator feature yet. Once we have that, tournament experience is gonna be way, way better. Sod takes Bard down, advances to the finals in a clean 2-0. Well played, well played. Alright. Let's leave this ear show. We're not gonna spectate him for the finals. Down there. Alright, everybody, here we can see the brackets. Sod did win 2-0, right? I didn't imagine that. Pretty sure.
You only saw one game, so I can't be certain of that. From the length of the series, though, probably.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna wait for the finals. Maybe Nefer is gonna be able to stream for us again. Wait, let me hit him up. Nefer, could you restart your stream, please? Sorry, I'm coming in here. The voice chat. Thank you. There it is. We're back online. Ooh, crispy, smooth. More than 3 frames per second. Oh, that's beautiful.
That indeed is.
Hey,
we see super clean setup on Nefer side, different take on the Cyan team again, right? It's 6 Cyan, triple Bulwark, Fire, Earth, and Water, and Granite, like super clean synergies, high power level. But the Predator side just seems to be overrunning the 6 Cyan setup.
That's interesting.
What we saw with Zord going for the Verdant. Oh, there is the Corrosive Aura one though. And honestly, Nefer hasn't really... I mean, there's an upgraded Flish and upgrade TNT, but it's not really invested a lot of upgrade coins. So seeing a Corrosive Augment, he could also be going like, okay, I have this Augment now. I could just focus on Verdant and tank. But he seems to be going even deeper into the what we saw from Zod. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right. You should have watched the stream. Because definitely the Predators are countering the Scions, but the Colossus Verdant is countering the Predators. So he shouldn't double down on his Scions. He has already enough damage. He has... How many Scions? He has 7 Scions on the board. 5 would be enough already to kill most of the enemy units, as long as he can sustain a little bit. So he should definitely work on that sustain, get the Colossus activated, and like you said, with that really strong augment, he should definitely be focusing on upgrading the Titan or getting in that Verdant and getting in as many Colossus and Granite as possible. With a little bit of good positioning, this could work out still in his favor, because yeah, we'll see how fast Goliath is gonna die here. He doesn't even have 3 Bulwark activated. I think that's a little bit of a misplay versus the Muddy Friends, versus the team he's playing against right now. As we can see...
Yeah, he just has a really hard time killing those Predators, but he's getting really close there.
Rilla is dead, only the Ranger needs to die, then all the damage is basically gone. So here comes the cast, and he got it.
Yeah, he got that. The Alfie got hyper. Alfie probably just did a lot of damage there, helped a lot with killing the rogues that were jumping in.
I didn't expect that, and now that's really good for him, because time is playing. The time is on his side. Like, he's gonna get those tanks in sooner or later. He's gonna upgrade that Goliath. He's gonna upgrade that Atlas. Maybe he's gonna swap out some Scions to bring in more tanks. We'll see.
Yeah. The only thing I would love to see that Alfie in the entire backline. Alfie really good at just blasting down those rogues, but from the spot that Alfie is in right now, it's just not really going to hit those rogues. It's always going to hit something like frontline and then the flood, and it's going to have a hard time killing those Predators.
That's a really good point. Even just having it instead of the Water Flish, ideally where instead of the Fire Flish, right? Yeah. But even just having it next to the Fire Flish where the Water Flish is right now
something
would help
like that. Like water might even be better. Yeah, maybe even water is better.
Yeah.
Because the angle on the Fire Flish, it's really hard to hit the Predators with as well.
Yeah.
The Water Flish probably has the best angle.
So then it's a little bit more...
If they jump, kill the Earth guy, stick on Titan or attack Fiery, something like that, then we should have a good angle there.
I would also like to see him deflect a little bit of damage from the Titanor. Am I right with that assumption? Because right now Titanor is very vulnerable, being the only main tank. And we want him to stay alive with this.
There's Earth and Granite. Right?
Well, we have Granite, that's right.
Yeah, but I think it's Earth and it's still gonna be okay. It's still a Titanor, it has Earth and Granite active. Yeah. I think it's fine.
There's not so much damage actually.
Next turn we can swap Exxon for Null, then we lose water, so... maybe Nefer values the water more than Colossus.
It is a pretty...
Oh, that Ranger fit in there, that's really tough.
Wow. Waterfish is dead. But it seems to be looking okay. Like you said, Alfie is not targeting the right targets. Enemy Ranger is just marching through. Here comes the laser. Taking down Adorius anti-Ranger. Rilla's still alive. Maybe with the snail cast here can take him down. Here we go.
Oh, there was a massive snail cast. The monkey being at what, 99% energy? Yeah. That was crazy.
Luca and Nefer are really going head to head here.
It's interesting to see Nefer at 110 mastery points unspent last turn.
That is interesting. That's one point I thought maybe there was a fix to that where like after wave 5 you get like 3 Ascension tokens per round. Because it feels like you're just stuck with 300 mastery points at that point. And you can always free position, but you still have so many mastery points, but you just don't have the tokens to do anything with your units. Do you agree, or is it alright?
I think there's... No, I think there's just going to be other ways to spend points in the future, and they aren't programmed in yet, basically. That's my assumption. For example, you could just allow people to pick more augments if they pay money for it, or that they just re-roll the augment selection. Maybe these board-wide effects you can buy as well. And yeah, you can just like offer a lot of things for people to buy to spend money on, right? Especially if we say, okay, the augments are not NFTs anymore, and then maybe some other stuff just appears in shops and whatnot. Maybe you can buy upgrades for your units. Like, yeah, I think that's just a bunch of stuff that could easily be put in where you just spend your money on, and you have a... This is what I meant earlier, right? The games always have to have trade-offs. Like, there has to be a trade-off, like, do you want power level or do you want positioning? And things like that. Yeah, I assume that a lot of that is just going to be in future updates and so on. I think that's just natural, but we are, again, like we just see this. That's why sometimes in the Discord, we talked a bit about that. I think like some messages are a bit emotionally loaded and sometimes a bit aggressive when, I don't know, there's like one new feature and then there's going to be the next and the next and the next, and they just all can't be ready immediately. That's just not how it works. I guess that's kind of my take on that, right? So, I don't know. I think there's just more planned for it, and it's just... Maybe this is like a bad habit of mine or whatever, but I like assume, okay, it is the most blatant obvious thing that on turn 5, everybody equips ranger weapons and has like a few points left over, and on turn 6, you have like infinite points left over. That's the most obvious thing. Just assuming that the devs are not aware of that is like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, obviously they know that. Obviously they have seen that. Right? I don't know.
Really quick back to the game.
What I want to say and think there.
Really interesting positioning there. And he kind of got screwed over by the monkey being now a rogue. The monk here jumping into the backline, assassinating all his Scion units. And I think Luca is going to take one. That was it.
Nefer essentially went for a very polarizing positioning. He was like, okay, my opponent is not going to have rogues on this side. My Titan was going to tank everything far away. And if they are far away, that means that my Flishs and Alphys are going to target the furthest enemy. I think that's what was going through his head, especially if you look at the positioning there. And he was just wanting them to pretty much kill those predators super, super quickly. But it did backfire because the monkey was just on the other side with the rogue emblem.
Yeah, in this scenario, actually spreading out his predators and his rogues to cover both sides was really good. Because he just needed one of those monkey to land in the Scions to actually win the round. So now the Goliath comes in. I think he can keep this positioning. He might as well just swap it up because he has enough mastery points to swap around a little bit. But as long as the Titanor is here, he probably would have won the last round. I would even say Titanor all the way into the corner because right now Titanor is going to run away and Monkey is still... Is he hearing us? He isn't. But yeah, now he should be able to capture the Monkey.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough tanks to really line up and protect the Alfie or the Earthflish here. I think the 7th Science setup is just really, really difficult to play here. with only Titano and the Axon. Like, I don't think the Axon giving water is really worth more than having, for example, a Null and the Colossus Taunt and things like that in. I think it's very, very hard to make this work, because we're just going to see those rogues go to the Earth Flush, then they're going to go to Alfie, and you're just going to have a really hard time. Titano comes in with a massive stun, but taking down that gorilla is going to be really tough. And I just sat it and it jumped into suiciding versus Fish Beam, so please disregard everything I was thinking.
Yes, we didn't give Nefer enough credit. I still think, yeah, it was miraculous that he pulled that off, because he was a little bit counter with the 7. He countered himself a little bit, but he pulled it off.
I don't know. I think we have to rewatch like precisely the positioning, because it could have been that after the Earth Flush is dead, there's exactly enough space for the Predator Monkey to jump in, and I haven't been paying attention to all the timings of the Flush cast and so on, but it really could be that the monkey jumps in at the second cast point of them. Like, that could just be something that lines up the way that energy gain works out and the way that the spacing works out there. That would be a really genius calculation. I don't want to put it past Nefer that he did that. But yeah, I still think you have an easier time with the Colossal setup like Zod did. That looked really, really crazy good. But the 7 Scions are still just really strong, surprisingly.
Yeah, they're really strong.
I thought that they would fall off late game.
Well, yeah, what I more meant is that he had the opportunity, like the deck has those Verdant and Colossus, which naturally counter the Predators more. So he made it a little bit harder for himself than it needed to be, but he pulled it off. And yeah, nice games. He's moving to the finals. I think that was the 2nd round. Yep. Zod versus Nefer in the finals. That's gonna be a good one. And they practiced a lot. Maybe they practiced some before the tournament, but now throughout the tournament, they have seen a lot of games. They have played a lot of games. So they are ready for a big final. And we're gonna see what they're gonna come at each other with. We can give them a minute. Do you think the games should be longer? Because right now we have very short games compared to, like, for example, TFT. I guess Hearthstone has like shorter games too, but not that short.
Maybe like long games even, right? Isn't the average game like 15 to 20 minutes at the moment?
Yeah, but TFT game is like 45 minutes if you win.
Nah, it's more like 30s. Like 35.
Maybe your challenger games, but...
I mean, yeah, I don't know, sometimes you get like stage 7, sure, but I don't think the average time is like far longer than 35. I mean, you don't win every game as well. I mean, TFT is on the longer side for games, right? Like, it's longer than the average League of Legends game nowadays, even. I mean, Hearthstone or like average card game games, it depends. Like, if you play some aggro decks, you win or lose by turn like 7, 8. The game's gonna be like, what, like 10 minutes maybe on average? Probably less even, potentially.
If
you play slower decks, then it's like 20 or so. Yeah. Illuvium is like very average game length.
I do kind of like the shorter games. Like, with TFT, I think like usually when I win, it's like 40 minutes. Or at least that's what I plan in, maybe with loading screen and everything, you know? Maybe actual playtime is 35 minutes. But that's like a big commitment. Like,
I mean, if you're challenger, you have 10-minute kill time. You can plan that in.
Yeah, you gotta have, like, all in all, maybe you get down to almost an hour of time that you, I don't know. I like short games and play a bigger sample size than only having time to play like 5. You're gonna play 5 hours, you're gonna play 5 games. And then maybe you lose one because of bad RNG, one you have lag, and then you're gonna kill yourself in game.
Yeah, that's true. In Minecraft.
Yeah, in one of those games. Alright. I think they're still getting ready. I hope they cannot see... No, they cannot see the private channel, I think. Because
private channel.
Like if they're both streaming right now, so if you hover over lol sots stream thing, you can see.
If you drag them into the channel, they don't have roles, then they can't.
All right, good. I want to keep it fair and square.
Yeah, we can go back to our podcast rehearsal, I guess.
Yeah. Where were we? Do you think? Because I made like 4 or 5 videos already that I didn't upload where I talk about drama and people talking shit, and 1 or 2 videos I uploaded, and I think it had an impact on people being more respectful and more nice in the chat because they saw an outside perspective and everything. So do you, like, I've been thinking to make a video about the discussion about the Illuvium Zero. And not really about the topic, more about people have been communicating, like pointing out, like, he just gave you an answer and you couldn't even accept it. You just went back to flaming him. Like, that, how do you want to get to a solution if you cannot follow,
No, I think like an objective review of some of the governance chats, maybe, like, not necessarily Illuvium, right? Like, we could handle that to like other Web3 things and so on as well. That would be valuable and good content, I think, like, genuinely speaking, because it is essentially like, okay, guys, let's jump into this thread and let's go through from maybe the beginning, depending on how long things are, right? But you could genuinely just go from the beginning and be like, okay, these are the arguments people are listing. And then maybe, for example, okay, this argument's been said once and twice and 3, 4, 5 times. Like, no, but like genuinely just like, okay, this, to maybe just sum up the thread as well, to point out multiple people have said the same argument, maybe they didn't read above, maybe they did. Is the same person maybe just saying the same thing over and over again? Because that's like one of the things that I always feel like are very unproductive when you have essentially this debate, or I guess, yeah, it's always like, sometimes I don't want to call it a discussion because it is more a debate. People just want to score points for their own opinions. And then it ends and the person couldn't maybe not really justify what they were saying, but people make a thesis and then the other person has like, well, your thesis isn't true because this statistic, for example, and then you just say the same thesis again. Like that could be in the video, right? Like that person just had this idea and they just keep saying that idea.
Yeah. Just
like on a high level way of summarizing that thread for people that don't want to read 1,000 messages but want to partake in governance, want to know what is going on here, what is like all the fuss about. I think that would be good content. Yeah, it would be a lot of work because you have to go through everything, but it would be very valuable, I think. Like it would be good content to watch even because people do engage in all of that, right? Like you have streamers suing each other and I don't know, begging Twitch or YouTube to ban people, and then you have, I don't know, just a bunch of drama with that, right? That has views, that has clicks, people continuously check that out and so on.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes in that direction, but it's really, also informative.
Yeah, it's really good content, and like YouTube is just, if you post drama, people will click because it's like, that's the media since ever. That's the story is as old as media itself, that drama just is a clickbait and everybody wants to see it and wants to know what's going on. One thing is, I don't know if I want to become the drama guy, but I don't have to.
Well, you don't have to do it. That's what I meant. It doesn't have to be drama. It can be informative.
Yeah, I would like to keep it very objectively and just like summarize it, like you said. I don't even want to put my own opinion really in there because I think people that are way more informed about the topic already people have spoken for me that I would just trust their opinion on because they are better informed and smarter and whatever. So I would just
certainly like that you just like go through it and be like, okay, these are like the fundamental theses people have, and these are the arguments that they have for that, and then you can like just objectively rate, okay, this is an argument, you can go crazy, like you go use all the Latin words, this is argument at populum, this is argument at, and so on and so on. No? Oh, damn.
I just googled gaslighting, man. I'm not there yet.
I mean that's like serious, right? Because like just like from this like language knowledge teachings perspective, right? Like this is an argument that just says the majority says all things. Okay, that's anecdotal because I don't know, what does the majority say or think? And even if the majority says or thinks something, that doesn't mean it's correct.
Yeah.
That is not, majority could say 1 + 1 is 3. That doesn't make 1 + 1 = 3. So like there's certainly different levels to arguments. And I think that's like worth pointing out to some extent as well. That, yeah, if you want to make it like analytical content of that discussion, of that thread, then you can go, okay, these are the theses, these are the arguments people have for it, these are like the strong argument, these are like the weaker arguments. You can, I mean, at that point, if it's a YouTube video, it's like, do you guys agree with this? Do you guys agree with the arguments it takes? Do you guys agree with how I sorted this? And so on. Yeah. It could be good.
And I would even do some research just to get like to get to know all those like the things you explained, all the different types of arguments and whatever, because I think that's very interesting and will help me throughout my life anyway, so might as well dive into that and then try it out. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's a lot of work, but I think there is a lot of value, even if it doesn't pop off and gets like, I don't know, a big number from my channel of views. I still think it provides so much value because it will educate people on how to communicate with each other, and that's, I think, the biggest problem in the Illuvium Discord, that the people, some are not like used to this online community thing or whatever it is. People are having a really hard time understanding each other, communicating each other. So yeah, I think that's a good cause. No matter the outcome, it will have a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said as well, it's probably going to help you like learn a lot about how to have discussion, how to have a debate, how to do all these like different like language things and so on as well. If you're not, I don't know, if you haven't really researched a whole lot on that.
No, I didn't. I always thought myself to be very good like in arguments and stuff. Like I can always convince people of my points. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think that's gaslighting, right?
I mean, gaslighting is if you make people do things that are not good for themselves but good for you or something like that more.
But I think I'm like naturally good at
maybe
talking
you're doing
with
that.
people, but I know the stuff, but I've never studied it. So now I want to get into studying it, and then yeah, I really like talking, arguing, and seeing also other people's perspective. Like the whole spectrum is really interesting to me, and I think it's one of the major points of life. So
yeah, I mean the main like easy ones usually are, right, if you just if you cannot say, if you probably put it like, the weakest arguments are the ones like, okay, the person that I'm arguing against is an evil person, therefore everything they say is wrong. It's like the person is working for this company, or this is their job, or they have done this or that in the past, therefore their opinion has to be wrong. It's like, what kind of person somebody is has nothing to do if the arguments or theses that they have are high value or not. It's completely irrelevant. But it's going to score you like a point in a debate, for example. It's going to score you a point in the public eye, in the public opinion, and so on. And then you have other stuff where you can just say, this is something when I hear the word gamers nowadays, I'm like, all gamers think this and do this. I'm always like, oh no, like, come on. It's like all people think or do this. That's bullshit anyways. Like, that doesn't exist. There's a bunch of, like, there's hundreds of niche communities who play niche different things and so on. Like come on. And then every time when somebody uses the word gamer, it's like some take like that follows, like, all gamers think this or do this. It's
yeah.
But yeah, like shit like that, where it's like all people think or do this, it's usually easily wrong. And yeah, like, those are the weak arguments. And then the strong arguments are something like, okay, you go to the core of what the other person said, and then you have like a statistic to back up what you're saying, for example. That is like a very strong thing.
So basically you're saying if Hitler says the sky is blue, the argument is not wrong just because he's Hitler. We have to look into what he's actually saying. Makes a lot of sense. I get that. It isn't actually blue, right? It's a reflection. No, what the water?
No, the ocean is a reflection of the sky.
The sky is actually blue. The water is reflecting. Yes. And the sky is blue because of the spectrum that comes through.
Yeah, because like the other like colors like make it through, and blue gets like it's like there or something.
Right, that was a little bit of a tangent. Yeah,
some physics, we're educational here. I think we're still waiting on the next game, right?
Yeah, Nefer and Sod are taking like a 3-minute break. So we can go full on podcast practice. By the way, everybody who's watching right now, you have to rate our podcast and then let us know if we should actually do it. Let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know, how do you like the format? How do you like the laggy streams? Give us some input. I always love it. But it hasn't been laggy for a long time now. We're pretty good. We are pretty good. Yeah, you're really good on this stuff.
We were... Yeah, I mean, we were wondering about podcast topics, right? And I was about to say, like, what we've just discussed with, like, how you argue and how you can, like, how you score points in public opinions and so on. That's pretty much politics, right? That is, like, one-to-one politics. You just want to score points in the eye of the public.
Yeah.
Essentially, you don't. But being right is good. But you can be right and or you can say the truth. But if, like, how to put that?
That's where you want to be.
If uneducated people just don't believe you, then it's rough.
Isn't that like the strategy, for example, of Trump, where you just want to be like extremely polarizing to one side? The one side falls in love with him, the other side hates him, and overall his popularity goes up, and he's just scoring points.
I don't think Trump is very polarizing. I think the other side is more polarizing.
Okay, shit, we're actually going into politics.
No, but like, I couldn't think of something that Trump is like actually like Trump is very grand in what he's doing. He's very grand and direct and like the stand-up comedian where he's just always something to say that people can relate to and like engage with. Like he's very, very good at doing that. And also one of the things he's like doing that's like classic like convincing people thing is he's usually saying people are telling me I'm the greatest. He's not saying I'm the greatest. He's like, everybody tells me I'm the greatest. Everybody knows I'm the greatest. Something like that. That is also like a good figure of speech to use there in that sense. Or everybody tells me, I don't know, Joe is a crook or something. He's not saying that he is saying that. He's like, everybody is saying that, right? Which is not really a strong argument or anything like that. But it's just like, I don't know, like a funny thing to say.
Can you do a Trump impression?
No.
I would like to do one. Apparently it's very easy. But yeah, I felt like because he's always, I don't know. I can't even pull up a quote, but maybe
he's like a showman in that extent.
But that
he's like
in my mind is kind of polarizing,
showman, right? And so on. I don't know.
Because it's gonna apply to like people that get entertained by it, and the other ones who think he's a clown, he's gonna like, it's very splitting the room into those two audiences. Whatever. Let's stop about that.
No, I really think he's not that polarizing, to be honest. Like not even in the way he's like speaking and so on. Like obviously some people just hate the guy to the death and so on. Sure. I don't know.
To be honest, I never wanted to lose too much energy on that because it's a politician on the other side of the world. Like, I don't know.
I care more about that election than my own. It's probably more impactful.
Well, yeah, it's very impactful to the world. I do get that, but I cannot change anything, so all I can do is watch, and I'd rather spend my energy somewhere else than watching it happen.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I think on politics, there are two takes that are fair. Either you genuinely are at a level where you can make educated comments, or you can't. And if you can't, then you shouldn't have strong opinions, honestly. And I think most people are not educated enough and still have really strong opinions.
There we could have another good discussion because I don't have strong opinions, but you do. So we could bounce stuff off
I'm also educated. Okay, we are in the game Nefer vs. Zod, and we have the Monkey Muddy Friends team on Nefer's side. I missed what Zod is playing. Did you get that?
No, I didn't get that. What do you think he's playing? You think he's also playing the monkeys? Because it feels like it's the new meta.
It's very strong. Yeah, it seems very strong.
Yeah.
It has both the strong mystic units, and it has both berserkers, and it has Apon as well. I think those are 5 like top tier units, and you can't really upgrade more than 5 units anyways. So just filling out with some other small stuff besides that seems very, very good.
It's crazy that Mystics and Apon and everything has been nerfed a lot, or a bit, last patch, and it's still so OP.
And the thing is, Apon as a unit is like, I think is probably one of the best, if not the best unit in the game. Just what it offers you. It's such a cheap unit. Earth is a very powerful thing to fit in with most of the comps at the moment. And Mystic for 40 cost is super, super cheap, and it's AoE stun and damage. Like, the unit is just so crazy strong.
You know what?
It's so, yeah.
What could be a good balance? Maybe changing the affinity and class, so it becomes Mud on stage 2 and Mystic on stage 3. That could make a little bit more sense.
There would genuinely be a big nerf to it, yeah. Or like a big nerf in that sense, yeah.
Because it feels really overpowered. 40 cost, Mystic. Like, Mystic feels like everything else is so high cost in Mystic. Maybe that's the trade-off, but yeah.
I mean, on the other side, that would also be a very big nerf to Adorius and Gazer. True. And Adorius and Gazer don't really feel like overperforming units.
No, Spore is overperforming. Like, Spore needs a nerf.
That is.
And also Revenant Shields.
That it is.
But that's another topic. If Spore wasn't that good, Adorius, like, it's not the Mystic part that makes Adorius good. We can see that on Gazier, which basically became useless in the last patch. Or not useless, but it has fallen off quite hard. It was kind of the meta in the beginning, because people were still used to it, and now nobody's using it anymore, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It's so refreshing to not seeing any gyros, any vermiliers, no spores. I like this.
It's just spore feels, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if you get 4 spore, you insta-win. It's crazy.
I mean, if you get 4 of anything, you should probably insta-win. What are you thinking of Legendary Augment betting overall? I also kind of think that should just go away.
Just go away, but then you have even less augments. It already feels like we have.
I mean, just make it like an armory. Like, both players get 4 and they can choose one or something. I don't care.
Yeah, I think the Illuvium team is very married to that idea of having like that mind games and betting.
It's not mind game. That's like silver elo copium.
It's true. Like in first, it was a little bit. You have like a few things, right? Like, when you have one that is really good for you, but doesn't give anything to the opponent, the opponent has to free bet it, and then you can go into the other ones. But he could also expect that. Like, there is still a little bit of mind games.
I mean, the opponent doesn't have to free bet it. It's like, you take a dice and you roll between 0 and 3. So you have 4 choices, and that one you just bet there, so you have 25%. If you both bet the same, nice. If you didn't bet the same, you just, like, are behind.
Yeah.
So that's just it. Like, you have, like, the one is really OP for the opponent, useless for you. Take your dice, roll it, and see if it says 0 to 3.
And most of the times the outcome is, oh, this is the OP one, this is the second strongest one, both players know what to do, and it gets denied and nobody gets anything, which feels bad, which slows down the game. So yeah, maybe on that note I would agree.
That is another part as well, right? Like, if one is just obviously very good for both.
It happens like at least 70% of the time that it's very obvious what's the right choice, and then nobody gets anything, and that kind of feels bad, I guess.
Versus that, you could argue though that balance would change that setup. If the augments and so on are more balanced, I guess.
Can it ever be fully balanced though?
I mean, fully balanced is like a utopian bullshit idea of silver players again, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like there's still gonna be, it could be way less augment denying then. Or also if like the emblems that come are more, like, so often you get, like, you play, I don't know, an Archelion for Verdant, and then you get an Aegis augment, which is completely useless for both sides. So maybe if the AI was a little bit better and really gave 4 good choices, that could help a lot.
Yeah, that's like very awkward. Like, maybe the Aegis 2 is like not even bad. It's like fine. Yeah, it's the others are just like more powerful, right? That's why you don't bet on it. So it's like arguably a balance thing again.
Yeah.
No, I think this betting thing, like, I don't know, it's just not a good idea, to be honest. That's my take on it. Or you would have to do like 5 augments and 6 coins and you can only bet up to 3 on 1. Like maybe then it's more interesting. I don't know. Like more coins, more augments, and cap how much you can bet on things. Like maybe then it's better. I don't know, but I wouldn't mind if it just goes away and it's like an armory as well, and both players can choose one, and there's like no Exodia insta win ones anymore.
Yeah, I can see.
Or maybe you do it like in TFT, where like I don't know, this augment is really OP at stage 2-1, and at stage 4-2 it's like really bad. So at 4-2 it can't be offered, or at 2-1 it can't be offered or something. Like you can like get rid of the Exodia augments that way. Or like if there's Ramfire on one, if there's Ramfire in your team, you can't get your Mega Can crit.
Yeah, I don't think the idea is inherently bad, but it does feel a little bit shallow and not really strategic. So yeah, at least
it just isn't strategic, right? Like I think you can certainly balance it, because you can put in like all those like stops, like really, okay, if somebody is playing like a rogue team, your Mega Can crit can't be offered to that player, because that's like too strong. But if it's not on rogues, it's like whatever, who cares about that augment, you can have it, for example.
If you remove it, you have a way easier time balancing the game in the end. You don't have to
just
plan
like
for all
I think like there's always going to be like some kind of like if there's some Exodia setup where you just did that augment plus that Illuvium equals insta win, but that augment fundamentally would be okay to be in the game. Just like make it not appear if that Illuvium is in the team. I think that is my opinion the best way of doing this.
Yeah. Hey, what are we seeing here? Nefer is
taking the Verdant setup
with the Verdant Mud. No, with the Mud is doing well versus the Verdant Colossus. So maybe I was wrong earlier when I suggested Verdant Colossus would have been way better versus the Mud.
It's really good versus the Predator line, right? That's what I said earlier when we saw the Verdant Colossus versus Predator. And then I was just like, just like swap to Berserkers, right? Berserkers should do really, really well into this. And that is what Nefer was doing. Also, Nefer, genuinely speaking, has good augments on the Monkey. Actually has decent damage augment. And Zod has pretty weak augments on the Squids as far as I can see.
Yeah. It's like clumsy.
So
that one?
I think it is the clumsy applying one, and it is devastating surge, which are both not that strong, especially the Monkey stacking attack speed on auto attack. Honestly, crazy. It sounds really bad, like 2% per auto attack, but it feels pretty okay.
Yeah, because he also stacks with his Omega, with his passive Omega. So it's compounding stacking, I guess. Ramping up.
I also wonder maybe it's bugged and it's giving more than 2%. Who knows?
And here he goes. Dunk, 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 dunk. What the fuck? Look at that guy. Yeah, stun him for a second. That looks so cool.
That was close.
Yeah.
Zod still alive.
Ooh. Wasn't able to secure one round in this matchup for him yet. Maybe next round is the time. He just needs a bit more damage. It looked like he had a lot of sustain, like the fight was pretty long. But he couldn't kill the Monkey. Either needs a better
Monkey
line.
going hyper, also problematic.
Yeah.
I wonder if that Fire Flash should just be like any kind of water Illuvium, for example, just to deny the Monkey the hyper there.
That makes a lot of sense.
That could go very, very, very far. I also don't think he actually has fire active, so I don't believe that Fire Flash does anything, actually. It should just be water.
Yeah. It seems to be very easy to play around infinities, but I think the hyper synergy has one of the biggest skill caps at the moment in Illuvium. Especially for the veterans who have figured out all the rest pretty well. Now with hyper being more important, people need to focus a little bit more on that. Like, I would have never thought about that one Fire Flash, but it's very obvious that that's the wrong choice versus all those Earth units. Because you're not activating fire, right? Yeah, no. How do you like his positioning here? Keeping the Berserkers together? I mean, all the Scion units will cast not into the Berserkers. They're gonna cast straight down.
That is what I was wondering as well. Ooh, like how you can best mitigate any of that, even versus like positioning swaps, because it can just happen in these rounds.
Yeah, now casting onto the Adorius, hitting the monkey at the same time.
Oh, that monkey.
Ideal.
It's gonna be an Adorius here soon. Not soon enough.
What was that? That was
that's a win for Zod.
Good reposition there by Zod. Gotta give him that.
Yeah, but this is another part where we can say, well, did Nefer, I don't know, like the deck from my side, right, from like the, I don't know, competitive pro player side, whatever. I would just be like, okay, I just take like a coin or a dice, and I like, okay, what do I do? Because it's entirely blind. There's not much else you can see. On that side is the question: is Nefer really supposed to just frontline everything? Because that is really, really weak versus a lot of those swaps where you're just like very, like, what is the advantage of full frontlining this? It's getting 1 second more auto attacks in or something like that, but it offers you up to the risk of being just focused by auto attacks at the beginning.
Yeah, this was a very beneficial positioning against the last positioning that Zod had. But it was very vulnerable against any reposition, making them frontline. They're so easy to be targeted by a middle positioning, also by a left positioning. And I don't think he expected him to reposition already in round number 5, to be honest. Usually
that was round 6.
5. Now it's 6.
No, now 7. You can see at the top right, it's after the second legendary augment betting. That's 7, I think.
Wait, we have 4 green ones and then 1 red one. So the last one was number 5?
There's one before that. Like, I think the thing doesn't show all, right?
No, legendary happens before the 3rd round.
Maybe I'm stupid.
Before the 6th round. Yeah, we're in 6 now.
Okay. I'm stupid. Classic.
Got him!
Yeah. Nonetheless, this is an interesting thing that we like learned in the positioning meta of especially Tsunami Enchanter Berserker one, where you had the Ranger and you had to essentially keep your Berserker safe from the Tsunami Enchanter Ranger. And the best thing you could do was have them hover one side and have one big Mystic in one corner and another big Mystic in another corner. And then there's like no angle that the enemy Ranger could have for hitting into the Berserkers. And so usually the middle of the board is like the most vulnerable one versus any like target the furthest away enemy. And just hugging one side and having behind them these Mystic Illuviums is the safest thing. Nefer not really going for that setup again, not having the Gazer like as far as possible to the left, just going full back with the Berserkers, which doesn't really give you a big upside in this matchup. You don't want them frontline because they don't want to be focused by auto attacks, but being like full back doesn't really help you. Like here, the Berserkers still, I don't know, Adorius probably gonna get focused down, and then they're gonna aim for the Gazer, and then the Berserkers are in the way of that.
Yep.
But he has a lot of damage before that happens, so it might just be enough. Big Titan stun coming in though. Gonna be close. Another Flish Beam soon.
Yeah, the first cast took down Adorius. Here comes the second cast, and they didn't even really need it. I feel like the squish shock damage is just taking over at this point, also with the snail.
He's not running shock, it's just ability. Right?
Yeah, his ability. They just have so consistent damage output compared to the lasers with their auto-targeting abilities. That just took over the mid-game, I feel like. Alright, what can he do? Just clean up the positioning, I guess. That's the main point, but it wasn't so bad this round and he still lost. It feels like the time has just run out for Nefer here and the Zod team is just taking over in the late game.
Yeah, Nefer has a really hard time going past that front line, basically. Like this in like the fundamental game setup of Illuvium, like anything like a backline ability base plus a strong tanks is supposed to be beating melee damage dealers, right? Because the melee damage dealers hit the tanks and then the ranged Illuviums can hit those melee damage dealers, taking them out. That is how the game is supposed to be in that sense. That's like how the classes are supposed to work against each other.
Yeah.
I think you could still accomplish a lot here though if you just avoid losing, I don't know, a third of your team to those flish beams at the beginning.
Yeah, because all the front line that we see right now, all those Grokos, the bull and the monkey have been targeted with that first laser targeting the Adorius. They've been all in the way of that.
It is also a bit unfortunate to have Adorius be the one to hit. Like if Zod would have just been on the other side, then it would have been a lot better for Nefer here. Because then they would hit the Gazer, and Gazer just does survive those things. Gazer is an empath Illuvial, but has a drastically higher defensive stats than any of the other empaths. So yeah, that could have helped a lot there.
Double the resistances that Adorius has. Way more life. Crazy. Adorius has so little resistances. Alright, what we got here?
And yet Adorius is the strongest tank in the game with Spore.
Alright, Laser is gonna hit the Gazer. Gonna take also down the bull and the monkey.
Gazer did survive.
That's huge.
And the monkey is now having a good angle? Is it having a good angle? It's just seeing Titan.
Heal Adorius. Gazer is full again. This is huge.
And monkey getting refocused just by auto attacks, probably gonna die to them.
Yep. If he had life,
I think Titano had corrosive aura augment there. Wow. That probably helped taking down the monkey. Otherwise, the monkey could have maybe lived slightly longer and then just kept pounding the backline. But yeah, just a really good augment on that Titano, adding even more damage on that front line on those berserkers and bulwarks.
Zod played that pretty clean, I must say. I didn't see many any mistakes.
Yeah, I think Zod's really good on that team.
Yeah. And now he got a win on the flish, on the hot fish. So he can play the Muddy Friends next. And we'll see what Nefer picks. Nefer still can choose any deck, but if you win, you cannot play the same team again. The Zod has to switch his deck. And Muddy Friends, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're the favorite team, right? Flish has a lot of options, going into the 7 Scions, going into the, what we saw now, Verdant, more tanky version of it.
Yeah, it looks like a very interesting team, actually.
And I think we're gonna keep this a best of 3. We kind of have to with the Conquest format. Otherwise it gets weird if you have to win with all of them.
Yeah, it's fine to keep it a best of 3.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, they're jumping into the next game straight away. I have to go to the toilet for 1 second. Be right back.
Okay. So, guys, we are taking over now. Sadly, there's a delay, I think, so we can't actually take over.
That's not what you do here.
Make America great again. Let's go. I guess you're not allowed to talk about politics. Damn it. No, we are jumping into the next game. Players already. I hope Pass is showing the game. Otherwise, I have to do a radio cast. That is rough. It's a pretty interesting augment. I think Swift Strike feels underpowered compared to something like a crit augment on Ramfire and so on, obviously. But it is still just a very solid damage buff choice, especially on auto attack based damage dealers. It feels really good on something like Arcanite or Berserker or Behemoth as well. Especially really powerful on the Monkey, because of no Omega ability. There's no time wasted casting useless abilities. It is just pounding away at the enemies. So the stacking attack speed buff is just really working well there. I think this is one of the pretty much the standard turns we've seen here, right? Spawn the monkey, get the Earth Fighter, and have the Grokko for the front line, and then just DPS away. I wonder if having the Ranger in the back corner is correct, or if you want the Ranger to also tank. Because Ranger is an Earth unit at this point. It has Grit and Resolve, and it's not doing crazy amounts of damage. It's things like half the DPS of Monkey and Riptor. So yeah, I think I would have the Ranger be a tank in this turn 1 setup as well.
That makes sense. But you already have the damage.
Yeah, maybe he's playing versus some team where he wants to backline the Ranger to dodge some ability though.
Like one core thing I've been saying in my guides is that you you need to build your board with 2 pillars, tanks and damage, and you want to keep them very balanced, especially in the early game, I feel like.
Yeah, I think being able to reposition your ranger every turn as well is just a massive thing.
Alright, we got the mirror match. We got definitely the better augment on Nefer with the stacking attack speed augment on the monkey.
Yeah, Nefer also played 1 more unit in general, committed the positioning of the Grokko. But for that, just has the stronger turn 1. Just additional unit, additional tank. His fighters can attack the enemy fighters attack the Grokko.
And usually mirror matches can be a little bit boring, but in this case, I'm really excited to see how the players play it out. Because there's a lot of...
Yeah, it's not a solved one, right? It's like we haven't played this matchup 100 times. We haven't figured out what we should be playing.
That's the beauty of those starter decks. Everybody has the same chances, but everybody also starts kind of fresh. They all have to figure it out on the way. I don't think any of the players has played a lot of practice games for this, and they kind of just jumped into that. And we'll see who learned the fastest. Monkey being upgraded, definitely the best move here, I feel. You wanna usually itemize and upgrade, ascend your tank, your damage dealer first, your main carry. And I think the new patch has solved a lot of problems we had in the past, because we couldn't reposition a lot in the past, and now with ascending units you have a free reposition. And we also have more mastery points to play around. So I don't think you're locked into a position that hard anymore, which is really good for the gameplay.
Oh, did we ever get like confirmation if that's intended or if it's a bug?
That's
that
a good
you
question.
can reposition units for free after upgrading them?
That's a good question. Do you think it's a good feature, or should it be removed?
I mean, currently I don't think it's good. Currently I think it feels good because we haven't played that many games and people are like arguably bad. But at the moment where everybody just is like, okay, I can just reposition for free every turn, or like most turns, it's just gonna have the blind positioning problem, where it just feels really coin flippy.
But wasn't that a concern of yours, that we are locked into positioning and don't have the ability to reposition early on?
Yeah, I mean, now it's not reposition 1 or 2 units, right? It's like reposition everything pretty much. I guess it kind of is 2 units per turn, to be honest. Fair enough.
Yeah, also
but
we have more mastery points
the whole blind positioning thing, like, I don't know. Those are the 2 things, right? I really dislike the total blind turns that we play against each other, and I dislike legendary augment betting as like fundamental things in the game. I think everything else I think is good, or is gonna be good once balanced. But those 2 things, I don't see that they can be good even if balanced.
But how would you redesign the blind positioning? Just one
That's
by
a really
one?
hard question. Yeah, I don't know, maybe have it like you make 1 move, your opponent makes 1 move, you have like 15 seconds for each or something like that. A move is anything that costs mastery points.
And that
maybe that could be better, I don't know.
That would go more into the idea of making it a speed chess type of game, right? Because that sounds very much like chess. You make moves 1 by 1 and try to outplay the opponent that way.
It's more turn-based then, right? It's like more like turn-based card game.
Yeah.
Sure, like chess is also turn-based, right? It's just more turn-based game. Like at the moment, it doesn't really feel like a turn-based game. In that sense to me. Because the information that you have from your opponent's last turn and then the options that they have, there's like no definitive decisions that you can make. There's no like 100% correct play that you can make. There's always this like random element in it, which feels really bad.
Yeah. I wonder how they're gonna solve that with the multiplayer game mode that we're getting, the 8-player game mode, if that's gonna be blind positioning as well.
I mean, that you can just like make like TFT, right? Like everybody can just scout everybody else and whatever, sure. Who cares?
I think that...
But, okay.
What?
let's go back to the game for a sec.
Yes.
No, I think this is this turn we've seen Nefer win all the earlier rounds, and this round was really bad for him. The TLDR on that is the front line that Nefer had did not leave enough space for all the 3 berserkers to run up and hit the same side, and the ranger just ran over to the other side and got killed. Yeah. So the important thing here for him to do is like adjust the frontline positioning.
So basically
adjust the berserkers can fit all on the same side.
So the best way to do that would be at least get the water Grocko, the water Doka to the other side. Make some space there. Maybe even the Cardalux.
Doka?
The Doka, the water Doka next to the ranger. Kind of blocking
the berserkers. It was the other side. The Zod had all his guys on one side, Nefer didn't. The ranger didn't fit next to the Karadulu.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Basically for Zod, the ranger and the Doka wrap around the other Doka, and then his other 2 fighters had enough space to run up.
Really
but the ranger was blocked by the 2 big berserkers running up, and then it just took a detour to the other side of the map.
Siphon Matrix also really strong on the Cardulu. Like, augment-wise, Nefer is having a really good game here. He's hitting all the core augments, I feel like. Not sure about the stacking attack damage. Here comes the reposition, though, from Nefer. He saw his mistake. And he's making space for his berserkers to come in. Let's see if that's gonna change much. Also, the monkey really well positioned to stun those berserkers.
Oh, that's interesting. Putting the monkey to stun the enemy and not to, like, buff your team, basically.
Yeah. Oh. Zod's berserkers split left and right, and now Nefer's berserkers are onto the Riptorus, at least the monkey is. We see a nice one-on-one there.
The monkey can survive that. It's a very crazy win for Nefer's side this turn. It looks like that.
Right,
but the ranger on Zod's side did get hyper. So did Nefer's ranger.
Yeah. We get the Indomitable, though, on the monkey, which is making a big difference. But here he goes down, and Nefer takes round number 4. Both are playing the same, basically the same team. Having Water, Earth, Toxic, Mud, Bulwark, Berserker, Empath, Fighter. Really, really strong synergies activated from both sides here. What do you think is the best augment here? Critical Chaos? No.
The shield one makes sense, right? You will eventually face Mystic. Against Mystic, it's a very good augment.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we're in the phase of the game where we have enough mastery points to freely reposition around. So now we're gonna see who lives in their opponent's head rent-free. Because I get your point where you say it's kind of a coin flip, left or right, and as you often I see on stream flipping a coin to actually determine that. But I really like to try to get in my opponent's head, like also what you can do with rock, paper, scissors. Obviously it's just a luck game, but it feels like sometimes you kind of know what your opponent is gonna do. But maybe that's just copium.
I mean, rock, paper, scissors is the same. Like, you can, like, it depends on how you want to approach the game, right? Like, if I approach rock, paper, scissors by taking a dice, rolling it, 1, 2 is rock, 3, 4 is scissors, 5, 6 is paper. I mean, what you gonna, like, mind game me?
Yeah, that's true, if you do that. But often it's like, I know I play versus a gold player. I know he knows he should reposition. And I know that he doesn't think that I know, you know, like, you kind of sometimes can read your opponent, but